Hello everybody and welcome back to Good Morning Sri Lanka on a Friday morning. If you were with us before the break, we were actually discussing the annual Royal Thomian rugby match which is coming up on Saturday at 6:30. So if you can't make it for the match, you can of course tune into MTV Sports and watch it live because we will be bringing it to you. And in the studio we do have Jayan who is from St. Thomas's, and we have Charit who is from Royal, here with us to talk about their experiences and a little bit about the annual Royal. So coming back to you, Jayan, I mean Charit was talking to us a little bit about the parents' involvement and stuff on rugby right now. How is it with you? I know that you've been coaching St. Thomas's with the junior level players and stuff. Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. I mean, your whole family plays a big role in it because even as a player, your parents involved because they are with you through the good times and the bad times. They see you go for practice and come back from practice. Then match days, they make sure that you're prepared, that you're nourished, and it becomes a full family event. From your parents to your brothers and sisters to your uncles, aunts, with everyone calling. And at this game, you'll see so many generations of Royalists and so many generations of Thomians turning up in their numbers to support their family members. So it's a huge occasion. And I think parents are, like we were discussing, Charit and I, nowadays the parents are so much more under pressure because there's so much more competition nowadays with so many schools really competing at a very high level now.
I see.
And are there any record-breaking performances that we should look out for? Are you expecting records to be broken? What are the best so far? Because I know that, for instance, players such as Devin Jayasinghe, they've been having a great season so far. Yeah,
well, it's a big year for St. Thomas's because over the last 2 seasons we've hit a very low ebb in our rugby history. We were demoted to the lower tier 2 years ago, and this year we'll be making it back up to the Premier Division. And we've been unbeaten, but then we've had to put in a lot of hard work behind to get where we are today. So, and in the series we haven't won for the last 8 years. So we haven't seen the colour of the Michael Gunratha Trophy for a long time. So we're hoping that this will be a perfect year to sign off the year with seeing the trophy back in Mount Lavinia.
I see. So, well, Jayan, you've last played in 2001 and Charit last played in 1994. So, which means you guys have been playing into different periods of time, right? And you have been you've been monitoring the matches which are going on right now also. So, if you can tell us a little bit about, are there many changes from now and back then?
I think it's a completely different game from what we played. Like I said, even the training regimes are so much more rigorous than what they used to be. I mean, they train off-season a lot harder than we used to do. The game of rugby itself has really evolved over the last 5 to 10 years. So, well, I mean, we still talk about the good old days on how rugby used to be, and but it's I suppose with everything in life, things do evolve.
Of course.
Yeah.
And Charit, tell us, what do you know about the training regime now? What are the differences that you actually see? Is it very rigorous? And
yeah, I think if you look at the players out there now, they are physically much bigger, they're stronger, and they would argue that they're faster than we used to be. But the game is more high impact. So the players need to be better conditioned, more time in the gym. They need to have way better nutrition than we used to have. I think a good meal would have been a kottu in our days, whereas they're not allowed to have carbs now.
So right now, like, they are really conscious about what they eat, is it?
They have to be because of the nature of the sports and
to stay on top of the game.
Yeah. However, I think one of the things is, even though that part of it has changed, rugby still essentially is it teaches you the same thing. It teaches you discipline. It teaches you teamwork, how to function in a team, how to take victory, how to take defeat. I mean, in my experience, I don't think there's a better classroom than rugby, and we're thankful that it still remains that, even though the way the game played and the kind of players coming out are different. And I think that's the attraction.
And in terms of the intensity of competition from back then and now, is there much of a change or is it the same?
Well, I think if you look at the Michael Gunaratne Trophy, the years we played, they were the toughest team that we came across. Not just at the first 15 level, but I can remember playing against a certain player in St. Thomas's from the time we were 9 years old, and we kind of grew up together, bashing each other on the rugby field. Ended up being good friends. However, as Jeevan said, over the last maybe couple of years, it's been less competitive. I think there was a fixture in 2009 which was very, very competitive.
Very close, yeah.
By 1 point. But I think this year is going to be different. We're looking forward for a really cracking game.
Yes.
And how important are the spectators to the game? What is rugby without the spectators?
Rugby is easily, I would say schoolboy rugby is easily the most popular spectator sport in Sri Lanka by a long way.
Yes.
I mean, whether it's the Bradby, the Royal Thomian, or you go to a top tier school game, I mean, you see support from both schools, and I mean, people turning out in their numbers. I mean, it's good value for money. It's short. It's maybe an hour and a half, and it's high intensity. It's exciting, and like we were discussing, I mean, the level of the sport in the country has really improved significantly. So, I mean, spectators, you're bound to have your ears ring with ROYAL and Tora and all being chanted right throughout the game.
On that guaranteed. Same note, Charit, if I'm to toss this question out to you, I'm going to compare the rugby scenario in Sri Lanka with the big match scenario. Now, St. Thomas's and Royal are known to be like the most popular schools when it comes to the cricket big match as well. But however, big match is a totally different scenario where different people come from abroad and all over the country. They want to meet their batchmates, have a ball at the stand, etc. But rugby, however, has a different kind of following where it's not just the past pupils who come and watch. It's just different people who are involved in school, maybe in different sports, different other routines. But there is still this loyal following there where people just keep coming back, and it's not just for one match. It's for a lot of the matches which the school takes part in. Why is that?
Yeah, just on the Royal Thomian cricket match, I'd like to point out that Royal won it this year, and and we're out to make a nice pair with the rugby as well. But to answer your question, I think rugby has a fanatical fan base. If you've been involved with the game, it really draws you in. Like Jeevan said, not just the players themselves, the families, the children, and I'm sure many an old boy or a past pupil who's living in abroad actually do make down the trip to watch this. I think there'll be some extra Thomians coming down this year. Hoping to break in the drought. All right,
John, you have to give a comeback on that.
No, I mean, there's, I think Shahid is settling for a defeat already, so I don't want to go there. He seems to think that we're in the cricket match and you guys came in the rugby match, and he's just playing it safe. Well, we'll wait and see. This year Royal with a better team in the cricket. Funnily enough, Devin Jayasinghe was part of the Thomian side who played the cricket game too, and so he's a phenomenally talented individual, and he's also our captain, and he's a key playmaker. Come Saturday, he's going to play a big role in how the game unfolds.
So this is just the atmosphere in the studio. I can just imagine when you translate that to the Havelock crowd.
And after Devin Jayasinghe hoists that trophy aloft, I hope Shahid is the first person I meet, going out of the ground. Yeah.
We'll make a point of it announced over the speaker system.
Definitely. Well, if you guys don't actually go on to the match, you can watch it live on MTV Sports and actually see who is going to lift the trophy. And make sure you remember this show as well, and the words of Jayan and Charit. On that note, just one more thing. We did touch a little bit upon when we were discussing. We did touch a little bit on this development of rugby in Sri Lanka. Now, a lot of schools seem to be putting a lot of effort into the sport itself, and even when it comes to schools and clubs and different games happening all over the country. It's popular and there's a lot of support, I think, which is coming in. I may be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's a lot of support coming in. But why is Sri Lanka still not so great in terms of international standard?
Well, we may not be on par with like the superpowers of say New Zealand, England, Australia, and all those nations, but I think in the Asian region, Sri Lanka has made great strides over the last few years. We're seeing a lot more qualified, experienced coaches in the island, at school, at club, and national level, and I think there's a lot more funds being pumped into the sport at every level. And I mean, when we were in school, when Shahid and I were leaving school, rugby was never going to be a career path, you know. But I think if you're a good, top quality rugby player, I think it can take you places. And I think clubs are looking after the players a lot better. And I think Sri Lanka is also now in the A division, the Asian circuit. So the sport is looking very healthy in the country.
I see, I see. Well, definitely rugby, I think, has helped you all a lot because you two are very accomplished individuals, right? On that note, I think we need to go for a break, don't we, Amaya?
Yes, we do. But thank you so much for joining us today. And I think you've given us a glimpse into the type of atmosphere and the type of what we can expect at the match on Saturday. So
you can expect a Tomian victory, without a doubt.
well, definitely.
I think he begs to differ, but we'll see.
Well, definitely, if you tune into MTV Sports on Saturday at 6:30, you will be able to catch the match live and see who is going to take that trophy home. So we've been talking to Jayan Gunatilaka from St. Thomas's and Charit Chikera, who's also an old boy from Royal College. So thank you very much, the two of you. It has been an absolute pleasure to having you this morning. I hope you have a great Friday and a great match tomorrow. So thank you for being with us.
And I also need to remind you that we will be bringing live updates of the match from 3 p.m. onwards as well, because there are so many, the under 15 matches as well as the lead up to the game is also going on. So be tuned in to MTV Sports to get all these updates. Wasam?
Yep, and we'll be right back after this break.